Welcome to the Saturday Sports Line. Since 1969, the premier sports show about local high school sports, featuring coaches, players, and special guests. Now, here is your host of the Saturday Sports Line, Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI Sports Director, Mitch Columbi, and sports analyst, Chris McGowen.
Brendan Hines back over to Will Malco, but there's Ty Schumacher on the steal, and Ty's gonna go for the slam dunk. Might as well. 63-42, minute 10 to go, and that gets the Blue Jay faithful on their feet. Fist pump, and they like that one. Good Saturday morning to you here on the Saturday Sports Line, the longest-running high school sports show in Indiana. I'm Mitch Columbi along with Chris McGowen, and we've also got head coach Kent Chezem in the house as well. How are you this morning, Coach?
Doing well, thank you.
Glad you could join us. Chris, glad you're back, buddy.
I know. It's been like a month.
I know.
And my seat still feels warm, so nothing new.
Well, let's go through some scores last night. We catch up with our girls basketball teams, the Tri-Township Lady Tigers and Chris McGowen. Boy, you got to be happy with them. Beat Morgan Township last night 56-52. We'll have a chance to talk with you in the second hour. The Knox Lady Redskins they lost in a tough one in overtime against LaVille, 41-48. Tough loss for the Lady Redskins. Then the Culver Lady Cavaliers, tough loss to Triton last night, 23-30. We look at our boys' teams from last night. The Tri-Township Tigers took on Morgan Township, tough loss, 27-67. The Oregon Davis Bobcats took on Argus, tough loss there, 33-54. The South Central Satellites saw an overtime game as well, where they unfortunately came up short against Boone Grove, 69-66. The Knox Redskins beat LaVille last night, 54-50. Good win for them. The Culver Cavaliers in a tough loss to Triton, 24-26. And then the West Central Trojans beating Tri-County 55-51. But we'll talk about our game last night between the Winnemac Warriors and the North Judson-San Pierre Blue Jays. The Winnemac Warriors, 42 points against North Judson-San Pierre, 63. You just heard a slam dunk by Ty Schumacher last night on the steal and fast break, and he made it count on that one. The Winnemac Warriors face Oregon Davis tonight, and we will be going live for that game at 7 Eastern, 6 Central. But let's talk about the North Judson-San Pierre Blue Jays and head coach Kent Chezem. Well, it's a lot of words you got to say at the beginning of the show, Coach. So, had a big win last night. We talked in the postgame a little bit. Let's talk with Chris a little bit and tell our listeners what you saw on the floor last night from your Blue Jays against the Warriors.
Well, I saw a good effort from our guys. We came out and started pretty hot. Kelson Jordan got us off to a great start. He hit 3 threes in that first quarter. Had 11 points, and he draws a lot of attention. And then once he got going, then we spread the ball around to some other guys, and I was just really happy with the way we played last night. I mean, I thought we played really well.
Well, you come into last night only having lost a couple of games. You said kind of in the pregame that maybe those losses had kind of shown you some things that you hadn't been doing before. Now that you've tightened those things up, what is the next thing that you want to accomplish with this team that you think you might want to tighten up?
Yeah, I think you're right. You always learn a lot more from the losses, and it's nice when you can learn from the wins, but it's hard to kind of get their attention as well as you do when you lose. But we learned a lot about ourselves, I think, in that LaVille game. LaVille really handled us on the boards that night, and our rebounding's got to get a lot better, and they're a sectional opponent. And so I thought we did a lot better job on that last night. We got a lot more offensive rebounds. I think early in the season, maybe our offensive rebounding was one of our biggest weaknesses. And, for a team that thinks we think we're pretty athletic across the board, that should be an area we should be really good at.
Yeah.
That's just about effort. So I think that's one area. I think our ball handling is getting better, our decision-making, especially late-game situations. There's been several times where maybe we have a 17, 18-point lead, and instead of kind of finishing the game off strong like we'd like to, we end up turning it over, take a couple bad shots, and next thing you know, it's a 12-point win or 10-point win. And quite frankly, there's a few times where we gave teams an opportunity to beat us at the end. So I think that part of our game is getting a little bit better too.
All right, Kelson Jordan finished the game with 26 points last night. Basketball is a game of matchups. Were there any other matchups that you were pleasantly surprised with last night with Winnemac?
No, I don't know if we're pleasantly surprised. The Hines kid played really well for them, and we had a tough time guarding him. We let him loose for some threes, and then, boy, he got some confidence, and then he knocked down some tough shots off the dribble and in the paint. The Malco kid did the same. We did bring in Josiah McDaniel last night. He got to play a little bit more than usual, and he's a really, really good sophomore.
Right.
And quite honestly, the kid would start on a lot of teams around here, and for us, he's been splitting time. He's been playing a little bit on the JV. He is a varsity player, and Quinn Bales was out last night for us, and that opened up some minutes. And Josiah does bring us some competitiveness that we don't have. He's just fierce. He's that way in practice too. Some guys try to get through practice. He gets something out of practice every time he plays. And I was talking to Coach Lambert. He's that way in football too.
Wow.
He always pushes himself to the limit. And he had a nice night last night. He had 8 points, and I thought he played really well. And he gives it to us on the defensive end too.
Well, talk about maybe some bench players last night I saw that due to the injury with Quinn Bales, we'll catch up with that in a minute, but you were moving some players off the bench and working them in some time. Talk about some of that as well.
Yeah, and that's, I don't know if you noticed the way we were substituting, but that's something over the last 3 or 4 games I've kind of given that responsibility over to my assistants, which is tough for me.
I was going to ask you, do you sub your own kids in, or do you turn it over to the assistant coaches?
Well, I have turned it over to them here recently, and I've done that at periods over my career. I'm a little bit of a control freak on some of that,
right, micromanager.
But you know what? It helps me coach the game better.
Exactly.
And really, some years when you're playing 7 guys, it's not a big deal. But when you have 9 guys there and you're trying to rotate them in, and you forget who's played, and it's just a lot easier for me to coach the game when they kind of take care of that. And we talk about it as a coaching staff, and we talk about different groups that we want in there. And last night was a challenge since Quinn wasn't in there. Quinn's one of those guys that he can play the 1 through the 5 for us, and sometimes does. And so since he wasn't in there, the groups and the matchups were a little bit different. But our assistants, John Hampton and Caden Shepard, did a really good job with that.
I'm just curious to know how other coaches do it, because in years past, I've had an assistant coach that handled all the subbing, and I've had another assistant coach, hey, you got all the out-of-bounds plays, so other things I don't have to worry about. I can focus more on the in-game adjustments that need to be made. So that's kind of just curious, just coach to coach here, just trying to pick your brain a little bit.
Is it all about fouls, or does it matter about situational? Like you just said, pull a player out that might be better on defense, or is it just depend in the moment?
Well, it does. It kind of depends. Last night Winnemac was playing a lot of zone. They play a lot of 3-2 zone, and so we have different groups that probably play better against that. Of course, you always have your pressing group. You got your, one of the things that we've done the last 2 years, we've taken guys like Aldrich Harper and Wyatt Stowe. They are so stinking quick.
Yes, they are.
And aggressive that we bring them off, and they can kind of speed up the game for us when we want it to be. And I think a lot of times bringing those guys off the bench as our opponents are getting into their bench a little bit, it has kind of bode well for us. So.
Well, you've got some time here till the 20th. We talked a little bit last night about that. I know you said you're giving the boys off today, but back at it on Monday. What are you going to prepare for the 20th?
Well, this is a huge weekend. We talked last night, Rensselaer and Knox back-to-back, 2 of the best teams that we're going to have on our schedule. A lot of size, a lot of athleticism, some good guard play on both teams. Similar in the fact that they've just got really deep, solid teams. So it was going to have to be a good week of practice. We need to, like I say, fix a few things. And, at this point, here we are, 12 games into the season.
Already.
We are what we are in a lot of ways, but we can make some adjustments and make some improvements, and I think we will.
Is there anything that you've been seeing in practice from some players that maybe don't get a little limelight that you're excited for in the future?
Well, our JVs had a nice year, and they get to go against our varsity every day in practice, and it's not always easy. We got 2 big men down there, which I'm really excited about. Mason Hensley and CJ Sanchez are 2 big kids who played great last night in the JV game. And, Rowdy McKee, he's our one assistant who's played in the post. He was a really, really good player in high school and college, and about 6'5", and we send those 2 kids over to big man school every day for about 30 to 40 minutes. And those 2 guys are guys that we're really counting on. They've gotten really good in the low post. They're great on the glass. When you have 6 seniors, you're looking for guys to step up a year from now, and those are 2 of the kids that we think have a chance to do that. And so, our whole JV has played well. Sam Hullum and Lucas Burkett are 2 juniors who, again, are probably varsity players, and they spend most of their time on the JV. We get them in when we can on the varsity, so they've provided some real leadership down there at the JV level too. So Coach Shepard does a nice job with those kids, and they're really competitive in practice. Boy, they give us all we want, and it's exciting to have that kind of talent moving up, and hopefully next year we can kind of reload instead of rebuild.
Yeah, it makes practices a lot more interesting, doesn't it, when you have that much depth where you can go put 10 guys out there and just get after it.
Yeah, well, and you talk about how you do things. We don't just play varsity against the JV. We usually have 3 teams.
Right.
And we can have 3 pretty competitive teams out there, and you have 2 teams going on the floor, and then you can coach a couple guys on the side, and then they rotate in, and there's really no letdown in practice. And it's I think that's one thing that we really have that maybe a lot of 1 and 2A schools don't have is the depth now. There's not a whole lot of difference between them, and it makes it hard when you sub because that you got some good players on the bench, but you got some good players out on the floor. But boy, practices have really been competitive, and it's been fun, and I think that helps us get better.
Talk about, I noticed Josiah McDaniel had some pretty big minutes compared to the Knox game. I noticed that he's actually stepped up and provided some good minutes for you as well.
Yeah, he has, and he's a kid that we've been kind of playing a little bit more and more, and it's one of those things that he's a sophomore and I want him to play every night, and so as a coach you kind of balance the fact, boy, sometimes you wish you could play the varsity game first and then the JV game second,
right?
But that way I know how many he needs to play, and he's a kid who's going to be one of our primetime players next year. I think he's just a really fantastic athlete, competitor. I love the way he plays. He got his chance last night, and I think he'll continue to get some varsity time.
How the coach is doing, the assistant coach is doing.
Great, man. I'll tell you, I'm blessed. I've got a great group. I've mentioned 3 guys, and then we've got Luke Gross, who is a former player at North Judson. He's on our staff this year. Even our middle school guys, I've got the Radkeys, Nick Radke and Nathan Radke and John Harris down there. I'm going to go up and watch the 8th grade play this morning at LaVille in the HNAC tournament. I'm really blessed with the kind of help that I have.
I was just going to say, if you get past the John Hampton reliving of the glory days, I'm sure there's a story every day in practice.
Practice is fun every day that John is there. He is the energy guy for us. He's the hype man.
Well, Coach, I appreciate you coming in. Is there anybody you'd like to say hello to this morning?
My parents listen every morning that I'm on. They're down in Frankfort, Indiana, and they make it to all our games. They were there last night, and really blessed to be able to have them around, and I know they enjoy it. We've been a basketball family my whole life. My dad was a varsity coach, and
interesting.
My mom used to keep book at all my games growing up. So those 2 have seen probably more games than anybody I know.
So you're from Frankfort?
I went to Clinton Prairie High School.
Nice.
So.
And then where did your father coach?
My father coached me at Clinton Prairie.
Nice.
And later was principal. So in a lot of ways, I'm following in his footsteps. So.
There you go.
So similar coaching styles, would you say? Or?
In some degree, yeah. There's some things that I do today that, just like different plays and different concepts that we use that I learned from my dad.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Boy, that's cool. That is so cool. Well, Coach, I appreciate you coming in and talking with us every week. And good luck. You got some time off, so enjoy the break.
Yeah,
but
thank you.
I know you guys won't take it for granted.
Yep, thanks.
All right, that's head coach Kent Chezem here on the Saturday Sports Line, the longest-running high school sports show in Indiana. We're going to take a break, but don't go anywhere. Head coach of the West Central girls basketball team, Tyson Mellon's on the other side. You're listening to Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI.
Let me take you to the movie. Can I take you to the show?
At First Farmers Bank and Trust, we've been serving family farms for over 130 years. We've seen our customers succeed in good times, pull through in tough times, and we've learned some lessons along the way. So we appreciate the customers we have today by finding the solutions they'll be looking for tomorrow. Are you ready to talk about your farm operation? Stop by a branch or visit us online at ffbt.com. First Farmers Bank and Trust, Equal Opportunity Lender, member FDIC.
Since 1936, Standard Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning have always taken pride in doing the job right. Third-generation owner Brian Hammond and his family have always set the standard when it comes to taking care of all your heating and cooling needs. Making your home a comfortable home is the absolute top priority. If you are uncomfortable in your home, give them a call at 574-936-4660. Follow them on Facebook. Let Standard Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning help you take control of your comfort.
Real magic is everywhere. It's in your mom's cooking, in 4-hour dinners with friends, in that first bite of something new, and in the fizz of a Coca-Cola. Now with so many options for less than $5, the Coca-Cola Value Collection will help you make the most out of every magic moment for so much less. Taste the magic for less with Coca-Cola.
You're listening to Mitch Columbi and Chris McGowen on Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI.
Will Malco, who then gets it to Brendan Hines. Almost stolen, but they still have it to Michael Lamer. Lamer with the ball, back to Brendan Hines, top of the key, spinning around, shoots a wild shot, and he gets it to go. Brendan Hines putting on a performance for the Winamac Warriors. 53-37, 5 minutes to go exactly. Welcome back to the Saturday Sports Line, the longest-running high school sports show in Indiana. It's time to talk West Central girls basketball. I have with us Lady Trojan head coach Tyson Mellon on the line. Coach, good morning. How are you today?
Good. Not doing too bad. Thanks for having me.
Well, I appreciate you being here. Since we've talked last time was the 1st of December in Oregon Davis at the Bobcat Den. Tough loss there. Since then, though, you have been able to pick up a few wins, so I was very happy to hear that. Right now, probably not where you want to be as a whole, but those 3 wins have got to show you some positivity. Why don't you tell our listeners the type of season it's been for your Lady Trojans?
Yeah, it's not where we thought we would be as far as a win-loss record. Seems like the month of December, we kept passing around some type of virus, and it was, girls are running off the floor, throwing up, and then getting back in the game. And, it's an illness is different than an injury because, if you sprain an ankle or something like that, you kind of know, a week or 10 days, they should be back to 100%. But when you got illnesses and you pass it back and forth, you kind of never know what you're going to get or who's going to feel bad at what time. So that month of December was pretty rough for us.
Well, we see your first win of the season came December 10th against South Newton, 44-30. Boy, that had to be a pretty big sigh of relief for you and the girls. I bet it was nice to finally get that first win under the belt.
Yep, it feels good. That's a conference opponent, and kind of skill-wise, you kind of know where you're at with them, and they're not deep. Neither are we, so we kind of matched up fairly well with them.
We fast forward and look at January 3rd against Hebron, a big-time win, 71-35, the highest scoring game of the season. Talk about that game. Putting up 71 points must even surprise yourself a bit.
Actually, yeah, I was pretty surprised. I thought we had a good chance in that game, but I was not expecting the score the way it was. over Christmas break, we had about a week and a half to practice, and North Judson beat us right before Christmas pretty bad. So that left a bad taste in our mouth, over Christmas break going into the new year. And, people finally started getting healthy. And, we were able to work on a few things, really dial in on our effort, just running the floor. Against Hebron, we were able to run a half-court trap on them a little bit, and that led to some breakout layups, which helps the scoreboard. So
Yeah.
that's kind of what happened over Christmas break.
Well, and then not to mention 3 days later on an away game against North Newton, you turn around and put up 59 points in that win, allowing only 35 points again from your opponent. So what happened there in those days other than health that maybe showed your girls that, hey, they've got some more fight in them than they thought?
Yeah, we worked on, just our defense, half-court defense, and then offensively, really attacking the basket. That's something, looking back at film, we weren't super aggressive attacking the basket. And then, so we worked on that over Christmas break, sprinting the floor, putting the ball on the floor, attacking the basket a little bit more. And I told them, what do we have to lose? Our record isn't where we want it to be. We need to get better at a few areas. So let's not hold ourselves back. So we were really focused on those things. And, looking at those games that first week of January, we got to the free throw line more than we ever have. And that's credit to them, just buying into, hey, we're going to attack the basket and just see what happens. So.
Well, we look at our game tonight for you guys. Lakeland Christian at home in the Trojan Trench, 3:30 p.m. Eastern is the tip-off time. What do you know about Lakeland Christian?
They got a couple good shooters. Number 13, number 12. I think they're sisters. One's a senior, one's a freshman. They're not deep. Neither are we. They probably shoot a little bit better than we do. I think maybe skill-wise, we're when you look at us, our 5 on the floor, we're probably a little bit better than them. But when it comes down to shooting, and if your team has shooters, you're always probably the favorite. So, they've got a decent record. I don't know if it's a winning record, but it's pretty close to 500 if it's not. So, it'll be a good test for us.
Any girls' names you want to promote on the radio this morning for doing a good job, or anything that you've seen in practice you want to give them props to?
Well, I think, the last couple, that first week of January, Annika had a 20-point game.
Annika Smith.
We had Annika Smith, yep. Kaylee Bishop has been, right there. Mara Sharp had, 18 or 19 in that Hebron game. So, Kaylee's been getting to the free throw line. I think she's shooting in one game she was almost perfect from the free throw line. So she's been doing a great job getting to the basket and drawing some fouls. So as far as our big three, they've been getting after it. And then we've had a couple games without Liza Allen. Whenever she gets to play, it was due to illness or whatever. She just makes she's long and athletic, and she just makes a difference when she's in the game. And then Brooklyn and Sydney Mellon are kind of leading our team in three-point shooting, both in makes and percentage. So they've been chipping in right where they can. They're not maybe the best at attacking the basket right now, but when the other girls drive and kick, they're ready to shoot it. So that's all we can ask for.
Well, Coach, good luck tonight against Lakeland Christian. I appreciate your time this morning, and thanks so much. We hope to talk again in the future.
Thank you very much. I appreciate all you guys do for our area schools. So.
Thank you, Coach. I appreciate that. That's head coach of the West Central Lady Trojans, Tyson Mellon, here on the Saturday Sports Line. Don't go anywhere. More to come. Head coach of the Knox Redskins boys basketball team, Joe Eskridge, is on the other side. You're listening to Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI.
Out in the country past the city limit sign where there's a honky-tonk near the county line. The joint starts jumping every night when the sun goes down.
Since 1936, Standard Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning have always taken pride in doing the job right. Third-generation owner Brian Hammond and his family have always set the standard when it comes to taking care of all your heating and cooling needs. Making your home a comfortable home is the absolute top priority. If you are uncomfortable in your home, give them a call at 574-936-4660. Follow them on Facebook. Let Standard Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning help you take control of your comfort. Stay tuned for more sports talk with Mitch Columbi on Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI.
This presentation of our area's local high school sports is sponsored by Pulaski Memorial Hospital in Winamac. Pulaski Memorial Hospital is dedicated to providing excellent health care to improve the health and quality of life for the people and the community they serve. They will meet the community's needs and exceed their expectations by creating the best possible health care experience. For more information of the services they provide, call 946-2100.
The Stark County Co-op has been a member-owned farm services co-op in Stark County since 1928. That's over 90 years, and they're still providing the same quality agronomy services to the farming community of Stark and surrounding counties. The Stark County Co-op is an LP and fuel provider. The Stark County Co-op purchases grain at both locations, Hamlet and Brems. You can reach them by phone at 1-800-782-3392, the Stark County Co-op.
Collins Insurance Agency in Knox has done it again. They have earned the distinction of preferred agency partner from the Western Reserve Insurance Company.
Can't touch this.
So what does that mean for you? Collins Insurance Agency provides themselves of taking care of its community. That means providing the best insurance that keeps you and your family safe in a time of need. And with this honor, Collins Insurance Agency looks forward to providing Stark and surrounding counties the best customer service you and your family deserve. Collins Insurance Agency in Knox, living the golden rule by treating you like family.
Let's continue the conversation with area high school coaches and more on the Saturday Sports Line.
Picks up his dribble inside. Nice pass to Ty Schumacher. Rebounded Kelson Jordan on the miss, and he gets the putback to go. 41-26.
Just too much size down low.
Welcome back to the Saturday Sports Line, the longest-running high school sports show in Indiana. Yeah, that's right. Too much size last night, and Kelson Jordan, 6'7". Man, felt bad for Sawyer DePoy. Winamac, 6'1", going up against him. Had a valiant effort. But just too much size. When you're 6 inches taller, you can hold the ball higher in the air. It's harder to deflect.
Yeah, it is. I tell you what, a side note here, the intro and the outro that you've made here at The Change with the Saturday Sports Line now, it's kind of funny because, when we come into an interview, you're playing the highlights from the game from the night before, which is cool. But the whole outro music after you've interviewed coaches, it's kind of funny because, behind the scenes, we've actually got coaches that are requesting certain songs. Yeah. So it's been something, it's been something that's kind of neat to see, and it's added a little bit more, I guess, the lack of a better term, flavor to the show. It's not so vanilla. But
I appreciate that.
Oh, that's pretty cool. You find so you people that are listening at home, you'll get to know the mentality of some of these coaches. Because of the music. Like Tyson Mellon there, he's a country guy. So hey, you played a little country music there. So me, I'm whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm a jack of all trades. I like all genres of music. But again, that's something that's pretty cool that you've done here on a Saturday Sports Line.
Well, I remember. One game I'll never forget. Well, actually, it was practice over at North Judson-San Pierre. Head coach Brett Lambert, at the end of practice, all the team gathers around and he goes, "I'm thinking this song for our intro music tonight." And I was like, that's the first thing he says to the team. So I thought, man, maybe there is something to this music. So I started asking the coaches, and First one was Shane Lowry over at Culver. He said, I'm an AC/DC guy. Would you play AC/DC for me? So you're right. It's turned into a little bit of each coach has their own flavor. Of course, I still sprinkle in some of my music here and there.
Right.
But yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and we hope to talk to Joe Eskridge here shortly. I told him to get here at 8:30. That's my bad. We kind of talked a little too quick there with Kent Chezem. Should have talked a little bit longer, but once Joe gets here, we'll definitely be talking some Knox Redskin basketball. Of course, they're coming off that big win against LaVille last night.
Yeah, anytime you can beat LaVille is with the Edisons. You talk about a well-coached, fundamentally sound basketball team. It's a battle anytime you take on the LaVille Lancers and an Edison-coached basketball team. That's for sure. But again, North Judson last night. Back to the game of the week last night. North Judson Winamac, huge rivalry. It's like Knox North Judson. You throw out the records. To me in high school, being a North Judson graduate, I've said this on the air I don't know how many times. Winamac was always the bigger rival for me because of where I lived. But again, so yeah, anytime you can knock off Knox or Winamac, and being a Judson player is always huge. Those are the two games on the calendar that you circle on the schedule. So see when they are and when you got to get ready for them and mentally prepared. But again, yeah, North Judson, I tell you what, I couldn't imagine having 10 guys that you can play at the varsity level.
Oh, I know.
And not miss a beat. Just be able to plug in at any moment and just do what you do and not have to change very much.
Well, last night when we watched them, you could tell the growth from that tough loss against the Knox Redskins. Of course, the Redskins, they're not a team to think twice about either. They gave North Judson a heck of a game, and I think that is one thing that it woke North Judson up a little bit. And one thing that I found interesting, we talked last night with Terry Minix on the broadcast. I thought it was interesting. You rewind back to the football season. It was Knox's loss to North Judson that head coach Russ Radke said that it took the loss from North Judson to show them what they were doing wrong. Well, then you go to the fast forward to the basketball season. Knox beats North Judson, and then Kent Chezem says, "Well, Knox showed us what we were doing wrong."
Speaking of Russ Radke, I do have to tell a side story. So last night, I'm getting ready. Teams take the floor. Girls teams take the floor for the contest, and I'm standing there, and all of a sudden, Russ Radke, one of the officials last night for the girls' game. I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me.
I saw him at a Knox game not too long ago as well.
So, needless to say, the whistle wasn't blown very much last night. The girls got to play, and it was a lot of fun. We'll talk about that later.
Well, we have with us right now head coach of the Knox Redskins, Joe Eskridge. Joe, my apologies about that, buddy. Thought we'd talk a little longer with Kent there, but glad we got you in here this morning to talk about that big win over LaVille last night. How are you this morning?
Just wonderful.
It's glad to have you here. Let's just dive right in. Tell our listeners we weren't there last night. What happened in that big win?
It was a battle. We came out playing really well defensively. I think we held them to like 2 or 4 points in the first quarter or something like that. It was a really strong effort, and we let it get away a little bit in the end of the second quarter, and then they came back in the third, and then in the fourth quarter we came out with some intensity and kind of put it away, but that's you got to give credit to those LaVille teams. Michael, he does a great job, and those guys, and we know they're never going to quit. They came back, made a really close game, but our guys handled the ball, knocked down free throws, and we're able to come away with the win.
Owen Binkley still on fire?
Yeah, he played real well, scoring the ball and leading our offense. He did a heck of a job.
Man, he was on fire last week. I couldn't believe it. And then to hear he's having another good week, sounds like he is in a groove right now, Coach.
Yeah, and like we talked about last week, and that's what we're looking for, is that consistency. And these guys, they're starting to get a little bit more comfortable with our offense and more importantly defensively, they're coming into their own where we can start to do some different things, and it's been exciting.
Yeah, to talk about that, you take over the Knox program, who has a lot of kids returning, a lot of experience, but it sounds to me like you've pretty much changed. Obviously you want to run your stuff. How was that adjustment? I haven't had a chance to really talk to you since you've taken over the program from the summer. How was that adjustment? How were the kids able to pick it up so quick, or have they not really picked it up as fast as you would like?
No, they're doing a wonderful job. I think especially going back to the summer, I'm a guy who's big on playing a lot in the summer, so obviously that helps out. We get more and more reps,
right,
and then so that's only going to speed up the process a little bit. But it is a process, and these guys are like I mentioned, they're doing a wonderful job. They keep coming into practice and working and pushing it, and and it's starting to show in games, and that's what's important.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, last night's win gets you over the 500 mark at 6-5. Anytime, I was saying before you got here, we were talking, Mitch and I, about anytime you can beat a LaVille Lancer team that's coached by the Edisons. I mean, that's saying something, because when you coach or play against an Edison coached team, that you are going to get the best night in and night out. Defensively, what they do, it makes it hard on you, but your kids responded, and so now you're back. You're over the hump. You're over that 500 mark. So you come back. Was it Tuesday at KV? You go on a four game road trip here, Coach. So you go on the road here, but speak about your kids and their reaction last night. Playing at home, I'm sure that helped, but to come out and start the way you started, kind of go back and forth in the second and third quarter, but to come out in the fourth quarter, what kind of sparked that effort in the fourth quarter for you to get the job done?
We came out again, where in the third we kind of got a little bit tentative defensively and kind of laid back, and of course, and then they took advantage of it and came back and was able to score and get some. I wouldn't say easy buckets, tough buckets. They made tough shots, but then to start the fourth, Nick Smith, he came in, got his first game dunk, and just got it was it was one of those times where, even as a coach, you don't really notice that, but it was loud, and Weinberg was rocking,
nice.
and these guys just got it going, and next thing you know, it was a tie game, and boom, 9 points right there in the fourth quarter, and then with a few minutes left, we started to take care of the ball and was able to finish it out.
Man, just knowing Nick Smith, I can see the play in my head and feel the energy. Man, he just brings so much energy to your team off the bench. I know we've talked enough about him, but my goodness, I wish I was there for that game last night. That dunk sounds like it was amazing.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. Just a couple minutes earlier, he had a chance, and he went up and he missed it.
Oh no!
And then he come back, and and I'm yelling from the side like, just finish it. And then, he goes up and he just, he went for it and rammed it down. He got it, and it was it was a nice play for us. And like I said, it kind of sparked that run, and then we're able to take care of business.
So you adhere to the opposite philosophy of my high school coach. My high school coach used to tell me, McGowen, you can dunk it in the game if you want to, but if you miss it, you're never going to see the floor again.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I the guys that can dunk, I tell them, you go for it every time, until it's, maybe if you're down one and at the last second, maybe just lay that baby in and make sure you get it. But
Well, it sounds like that play catapulted you. Like you said, it got the place rocking, and the kids believing and playing harder. So kudos to Nick to have the confidence to go up and get it and put it down.
Yeah, I mean, he had a really strong game all the way through, Nick. That's what we've been kind of looking forward to as we've come through the season. But Declan Austin, again, I mean, we haven't checked the stats yet, but real close to a triple-double of points and rebounds and blocks. Had a really solid game in the paint. He does such a good job in there of defensively, just kind of being a presence in there and bothering the other team. Rowan Jordan had a really strong game last night. I think had 8 points. And defensively did a good job. All of our guys defensively was really good.
Well, I know Chris kind of touched on it about the 4-game road trip here you're about to go on. You had 6 days off between Winamac and last night's LaVille game. Now you take 3 nights off until you see Kankakee Valley on the 17th. Talk a little bit more in depth about KV and what you know about them, what you want to prepare for.
To be honest, I haven't really looked at them yet. I mean, we'll get in there today, and then we'll start to look at that. I'm kind of a guy who's big on one game at a time.
Sure.
We get through this one, and then we're on to that next opponent, and that way we don't get to looking too far ahead and things like that. Especially that's of course our guys last night are excited and I'm saying, all right, we got KV, and then somebody, Judson. And I'm like, no, we're not worried about that. Not worried about that. We know we got, that's our rival, but we got KV business to take care of, and like I said, we'll as a staff and everything, we'll get in there today and start to go to work on that, because we got the quick turnaround with having the game on Tuesday.
Well, they're struggling for wins. They're coming in 3-9, but 2 of their 3 wins are against pretty good programs. They defeated Couts 63-52, and they defeated Andrean 68-50. So 2 pretty good basketball schools there for 2 of their 3 wins. Yeah,
and then I think the loss there is to Michigan City, who's a really good team, and they only lost by 1 point. So I mean, that's what we can. We got that film there to look at, see what happened there, and then a few others, and we'll get in there, look at it, and see if we can't break it down and figure some things out.
Anybody you've been surprised with over the last couple of weeks, maybe in practice, that you're happy you're seeing?
Well, last night, Caleb Schwant, he came in. He hadn't been getting too many minutes in the varsity, and he's taken on. We started the year, and he's been playing some JV and accepted that role, and then he got a chance to come in last night, hit a. And that was another big play.
He's I think that
might have, that people, we think about the dunk in the fourth quarter, but he hit a shot at the buzzer at the end of the third where, I think, guys that got kind of catapulted, got us excited going in there, and might have been a catalyst to those other things. But yeah, it was nice to see him come in and do a good job.
How tall is he?
He's probably about 6'3", 6'4".
Yeah, he's a tall guy out there. Not a bad sub to come in for Declan Austin. Of course, he's 6'6", 6'7" range. So you got some big guys down in the inside. That's always fun to watch when you let the bigs work. But, Coach, I appreciate you coming in and talking some Knox Redskin basketball. It's always a pleasure.
Yep, thank you.
All right, that's head coach of the Knox Redskins, Joe Eskridge, here on the Saturday Sports Line from the Pulaski Memorial Hospital studios. We're going to take a break and come right back. Don't go anywhere. More to come. We've got Larry Sennert of the Oregon Davis Bobcats in the lobby waiting. You're listening to the Saturday Sports Line.
Real magic is everywhere. It's in your mom's cooking. in 4-hour dinners with friends, in that first bite of something new, and in the fizz of a Coca-Cola. Now with so many options for less than $5, the Coca-Cola Value Collection will help you make the most out of every magic moment for so much less. Taste the magic for less with Coca-Cola.
Collins Insurance Agency in Knox has done it again. They have earned the distinction of preferred agency partner from the Western Reserve Insurance Company.
Can't touch this.
So what does that mean for you? Collins Insurance Agency provides themselves of taking care of its community. That means providing the best insurance that keeps you and your family safe in a time of need. And with this honor, Collins Insurance Agency looks forward to providing Stark and surrounding counties the best customer service you and your family deserve. Collins Insurance Agency in Knox, living the golden rule by treating you like family.
The Stark County Co-op has been a member-owned farm services co-op in Stark County since 1928. That's over 90 years, and they're still providing the same quality agronomy services to the farming community of Stark and surrounding counties. The Stark County Co-op is an LP and fuel provider. The Stark County Co-op purchases grain at both locations, Hamlet and Browns. You can reach them by phone at 1-800-782-3392, the Stark County Co-op.
Life is busy. At First Farmers Bank and Trust, we know that your time is valuable. That's why we offer mobile banking, online account opening, and mobile check deposit. So you can take care of your banking and get back to the people who matter most to you, while we take care of the people who matter most to us, our customers. Visit us online at ffbt.com to learn more. First Farmers Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
You're listening to Mitch Columbi and Chris McGowen on Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI.
Lines for three. No good. Off left iron. Rebounded Sawyer. DePoy on the inside. And he gets the put back to go. Big time offensive rebound from DePoy.
Welcome back to the Saturday Sports Line, the longest running high school sports show in Indiana. That's thanks to Harold Welter. We have with us Oregon Davis Bobcats head coach Larry Sennert in the house. And Coach, good morning.
Good morning.
So glad to have you here. Appreciate you taking the time to come in. Of course, we're going to be at your game tonight against Winamac. But before we get into that, it's just been a tough kind of few games for you. Tough loss to Argus last night, 33-54. But just tell us overall right now. I know you haven't really had a chance to talk with Chris, so why don't we catch some of the listeners and Chris up with this Oregon Davis Bobcat team and some of the positives you're taking away from it.
Well, the biggest positive is, regardless of our record, every day those kids come focused and ready to practice. You know, I mean, a lot of times when you got teams that are struggling, and I'm not saying we're not struggling, but we've got we're playing about 8-9 kids most of the time, and you know, if I had practice right now, if we left here, they'd all be there, they'd all be focused, they'd be ready to play, and they're ready to get better. We are getting better. We're doing a lot of good things. You know, last night the score really doesn't indicate the way we played the game. We did a really good job. We came up very focused, a lot of energy and enthusiasm by all the kids. They were ready to play. You know, it was by the score, it was about a 10-point game realistically, but we, down the stretch, we fouled them, did some stuff. But, you know, we were down at halftime, I think like 8 or 9, stole the ball out of half, coming out of the locker room, stole the ball the first 2 possessions, and really got things going. You know, probably the biggest thing, we just consistently cannot make baskets at time, and that's a weakness we have. But with that being said, our defense is improving every day.
Well, you know, I wouldn't expect anything different than from a Larry Sennert coach basketball team. I tell you, the game I saw you play, your kids just play hard, and they never give up, and it's 100 miles an hour on the defensive end. And when you can do that, and when they truly buy into the rotations and the philosophy of what you're trying to do, you know, whether you can score the ball or not, if you can keep the other team from scoring, you always give yourself a chance.
Yeah, you know, there's been a couple games, almost every game this year I thought we competed and we've done a good job. And I went to Clay the other night, and it was a big game for us. You know, it was a good first half, but I thought of all the games we played all year, maybe in the fourth quarter, we kind of let up a little bit, thinking that, you know, it was over. Other than that, they've never done that, and I don't expect them to do it again. But, you know, our defense last night, you know, Morris is a good kid. You know, he's going to play small college basketball somewhere. He's a load. And we did a tremendous job on him last night. Everybody, you know, bought into the scouting report, did their assignment, and, you know, we just did the things we had to do. And defense is what's really we've improved in, and our goal is to get better every day. And every day at practice, I think the kids have bought into that.
Well, tonight's a special night, a battle between Pulaski County and Stark County as the Winamac Warriors struggling right now as well. We talked to Cam Bennington last night, and he said in the post-game interview that they've already put North Judson in the rear view right there at the gym, and they said their full focus was on Oregon Davis. And Cam said that this is an opportunity for them to strike. I'd say the same thing for you guys as well. Two struggling teams coming in here. We're probably bound to see a really tightly contested good ball game. What are you excited for in this matchup?
I'm excited to play after last night. If we can have the energy that we had last night. Now, last night, not to be a complainer here, but boy, there was a couple fouls there that really affected our play. And when you play aggressive basketball, and you get after it, and we got a couple kids that just will put it all out there on the floor and take charges. And last night there was a few calls that in high school basketball, momentum is huge. You take that momentum away, and somebody's making a run on you, and you miss, call it what you want. You don't call a charge when the kid gets flopped in his tooth, about knocked out. Then guess what? It kind of takes the air out of our sails. But with that being said, we kept playing hard. But we're ready to. We want to win, and we're going to be focused. And we're ready for them. I've said it before. A lot of our focus and a lot of things about us is more about us than it is about the other team. Yeah, we got a scouting report, but you can be good in a lot of categories. But we've got to put the ball in the hoop, and that's what we're going to work on and continue to get better.
Yeah, you talk about momentum, and as a coach, you came up short last night, but it sounds like you took away a lot of positives from that, and probably the best thing is to have that quick turnaround and be able to play tonight. You don't have to go through a week of practice where you're trying to carry that momentum over. So, as a coach, sometimes, playing these back-to-backs is very beneficial.
Oh yeah, you're spot on, Chris. I mean, those kids, I think they'd have played last night when we got done. They really were into it, and just it was homecoming, great crowd, great atmosphere, great support by everybody, and I think those kids really, they're ready to play. They just are ready to play, and I think today we'll have a little walkthrough later and go over the scouting report, and we'll be ready. I mean.
So, what's your biggest concern? What that Winamac brings to the table tonight? I know you just said that you're more worried about you. But in that scouting report, what's your biggest concern with the Warriors?
Well, the young man last night had, 26 points?
22.
Yeah, against Judson, which he hasn't scored that many points all year. So,
right.
So it's, we always say someone's going to be an X factor on our team, but granted, there's going to be an X factor on the other team.
Yeah.
Obviously, that young man was an X factor for them last night because he hasn't been scoring like that. They'll be ready to play. I mean, it's just that type of atmosphere we play each other, and I'm sure – they're struggling for wins. We're struggling for wins, and I look for them to be just as focused as we are. We just, like I say, we got to worry about ourselves because we're capable of doing a lot of things. We're going to surprise somebody sometime. I don't know what it's going to be, but we're going to surprise somebody that that's just because of the way we play.
I'm curious, sitting here as a sports analyst now, and but I still got my coach's hat on. I love picking their brains about things, and the more and more I get into this. The longer I do this, the more and more my philosophy has kind of changed. I used to be an informational overload type of guy where, tendencies, you chart everything and the ins and outs of everything that the opposing team does. But I've become more of just worry more about us because, hey, there's only so many defenses that a team can run. You just got to be good at how you want to attack the certain defenses and just get good at it. So my philosophy has changed. I don't know if your philosophy has changed in the years that you've done this, because heck, you and I have battled a lot of times.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, and you said it, Chris. You really got to adjust the game to your kids. We're playing like 8 kids,
right?
So the rotation, every game I've got a different starting lineup or a different group, and don't know just because we've got 1 or 2 kids stand out in our program, so to speak. But after that, it's very level. So it comes down to work ethic and desire. So with that being said, that dictates how we're going to play the game and who's going to play it and what position and whether we're going to be in man or zone or 1-3-1 or what. And we tried different things, but we're trying to get better at a couple things.
Right.
Keep it simple.
Yeah, that's the key. I always the kiss and kill philosophy. Keep it simple, stupid, and keep it likable and learnable.
Yep.
You know, the nice thing with my girls program is the fact that I play 7 girls basically, and depending on who I have in the game, if a team's playing us man-to-man, depending on the 5 that I have on the floor, I now have 5 different offenses that I run to fit the personnel that I have on the floor. And to be able to be that experienced and to do that with my girls has been huge for us. But again, I'm just curious on how your philosophy, if it's changed from when you first started. You know, you came up coaching under Todd Boldry. Again, I just curious on how your philosophy has changed, or if it has changed in that regard.
I don't know if my philosophy changed. I'm going to tell you what, the kids have changed, though. You know, basketball knowledge by young men today is not what it was 5 years ago. And that's the biggest difference. You know, I've said this. You can go back 5 years, 10 years, and you can have a kid that probably never went in the game. He's going to start and play in today's world, and he'll play a lot. You know,
right?
Just because of basketball knowledge and you know, playing the game. You know, we've all said it. Kid, you drive down the street, you don't see kids out there shooting like you did 5-10 years ago. You know, now there's too many other things to go. You know, social media, there's all kinds of things. So, but with that being said, you know, like I said, I've got great kids there. You know, that to have the record we have and to show up every day and to work and sweat and get yelled at and screamed at and get positives. I just admire those young men. And you know, last week I forgot to say Cashton Swanson's name, so I'm going to say Cashton Swanson a couple times. So Cashton, I won't forget your name this week.
But you know, you talk about that, you know, 5-10 years ago, and it is. I was talking to a couple of my parents just the other night about this. You know, the big difference is the fact that, you know, in the summer, we would always, back when I played, we would always be at a court somewhere outside, the 10 or 12 of us playing. So when it came time to start the regular season, I mean, heck, I knew what Ryan Bales was going to do before Ryan Bales actually did it. I knew what Shannon Brown was going to do before he actually did it. Lloyd Howard, you knew your teammates so well. Now you don't see that now. It's because kids don't get out and play as much as like what we did. Because if there was an open court somewhere, there was 10 of us out there playing.
Yeah. Or they're involved in other things. I've got kids that are involved in baseball, so they've got summer baseball, so they can't go basketball, or basketball and can't go to swimming, whatever it may be, you know. But like I say, being a small school, with that being said, those kids I just can't stress enough how hard those kids and committed they are to continue to come in and look at our record and say, you know, well, a lot of times kids fold up the tents, but these 8-9 kids that are in the varsity program, they bring it every day. They want to get better. They work hard. You know, there's 3 freshmen there that are getting some playing time, and they, you know, that's a big jump for a freshman to play in a varsity game. A huge jump. And I don't know if they realize that, but I think they'll realize it in a couple of years.
And, you know, and that sounds like, to me, you're establishing the culture of the program that you want. And the kids there are buying in, and, you know, they've developed some pride about, you know, not only themselves, but the Oregon Davis Bobcat style of basketball. And they understand that, hey, if we keep plugging away at this, things are going to turn around. And sounds to me like the foundation's been laid, and now you guys are starting to build towards that success.
I think you're spot on there. You know, like I said, it's hard to come to practice every day after you got beat one night, or, you know, things didn't go your way, or, you know, we shot 20%, you know, the other team shoots 40. It's hard. But when you have a young man who comes in, and young men, the whole group, when they come in and they go to work, want to get better, you know, that says a lot to me. Because even, you know, winning sucks. Okay, let's be realistic here. But with that being said, those kids accept the fact that we have to get better for us to win, and so do we, you know, as coaches. So,
and it's a growing process, you know. Again, I keep referring back to my program because that's what I'm used to. But, you know, 2 years ago, this junior class, this freshman, they were 4-18, and they had to learn how to play varsity basketball, and they had to learn what it takes to win. And now, you know, they took that to heart, and all those talks that we had, and they stayed the course. And now, you know, we've had success, and it sounds like you're going through the same thing right now.
Yeah, I'd say I can't say enough. I just so proud of those kids. I really am, because, you know, you can look at programs in different areas, and usually the results aren't the same. But after last night, you know, it wasn't a win, but the effort, the energy, enthusiasm by that team, by our team, the focus, you know, I mean, Argus got a good program. They do a lot of good stuff. They got some, a lot of seniors, and
right.
And I thought we stayed the course. We did what we had to do. We didn't win, but to me, our effort was perfect. And we're going to build off this.
Right.
We're going to build off this and try to get ready for tonight. Play Winamac, which Winamac, we're both in the same lake here, in the same boat.
Right.
Trying to do the same thing, but we're going to get after it.
Coach, I appreciate your time. Thanks for coming in, and look forward to seeing you here in the next few hours.
Thank you. Thanks for your support, both of you.
Of course. That's head coach of the Oregon Davis Bobcats, Larry Sennert, here on the Saturday Sports Line, the longest-running high school sports show in Indiana. We're going to take a break, go to the top of the hour, news and weather. After that, Athlete of the Week, Olivia Marks' interview. And then, of course, we will have head coach of the South Central Satellites boys basketball team, Eric Speer. That's all in the next hour. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI.
From the Pulaski Memorial Hospital Studios, quality care closer to home. You're listening to WKVI FM 99.3. Knox, North Judson, Winamac, playing the best of Vinyl Gold, a service of Kankakee Valley Broadcasting.
Fox News. Until NATO, at least 19 people dead in the storms that have been pounding California. More rough weather expected this weekend. Nancy Ward of the state's Emergency Services Office.
These storms are amongst the most deadly natural disasters in the modern history of our state.
Forecasters say much of the state could get heavy rainfall, flooding, and mountain snow. A fright for the Dallas Zoo after they found Nova the leopard had escaped. Dallas Police Sergeant Warren Mitchell says it looks like someone tampered with her habitat.
It is our belief that this was an intentional act, and so we have started a criminal investigation.
Nova was captured safely Friday afternoon on zoo grounds. One winning ticket for Friday's Mega Millions jackpot. Somebody in Maine's got a ticket worth $1.35 billion. America's listening to Fox News.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-290-5599. That's 1-800-290-5599. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-290-5599. That's 1-800-290-5599.
SelectQuote. We shop, you save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
From the K99.3 Weather Center, here's your forecast. It'll be partly cloudy today. 36 will be your high. Wind chill about 20. Tonight, partly cloudy, 28. Wind chill 19. For Sunday, cloudy, 40. Sunday night, cloudy again, low of 35. And your outlook for Monday, mostly cloudy with rain and a high of 47. For your extended forecast 24/7, visit our website, WKVI.com. From the WKVI Weather Studio, it's 28.
It's time now for Hour 2 of the Saturday Sports Line with your host, Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI Sports Director, Mitch Columbi, and sports analyst, Chris McGowen.
You know who it is, Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI. From the Pulaski Memorial Hospital Studios, we welcome you back for Hour 2 of the longest-running high school sports show in Indiana. That is thanks to our very own Harold Welter. We're talking about Olivia Marks today, as she was our Athlete of the Week. Had a chance to sit down and talk with her. Of course, we were there for her big-time game early on last month, where she eclipsed 1,000 career points as a South Central Satellite. Here's my sit-down interview with Olivia Marks.
All right, Olivia, first off, congratulations. I appreciate your time today. Talk about basketball as a whole. What is it about this sport that you enjoy so much in general?
Ever since I was little, I honestly can't even remember when I started playing. I've always just looked up to the older girls from starting as young as I was. We always did like the winter kids camps when Rick Budko was the coach, the summer kids camps when he was the coach. And just going to those, I always looked up and just wanted to always be like them, and I wanted to be as successful as all of them were. So, yeah.
Well, talk about this team a little bit. I know that you're one of the main leaders, but there are several leaders on this team as a whole. Talk about some of the other players on this team that maybe you admire or look up to.
My dad has always said that he thinks that our team is sleepy good. So we say that so we can come out and they can expect me to score 20 points and I get face guarded. And then I can count on my other teammates to step up. And I know that, like last night, Hope Welsh had 22 points. And when I score 5 points, Kate Welsh will score 15. I mean, it's just like if I'm not playing my best game or I have a bad day or something, I know I can always count on my other teammates to step up into my role and shoot and just score as well as they can. So
the one game we were lucky enough to be here for was actually the game that you had cracked the 1,000 point mark in your career here. We'll talk about that here in just a minute, but what I really recognized from your team was it looks like you guys are close, just not on the court, but I'm going to go ahead and assume you guys hang out outside of school as well. Am I correct in saying that?
Yes, definitely. Ever since we were able to start playing like junior high, technically in 5th grade. My dad was our coach, and me, Kate Welsh, Lillian, and Hope Welsh, and Sadie were always on the younger team. And when we were in 6th grade, they were on the 5th grade team, and they would play up with us. We'd play down with them. It's always just kind of been like we've always been together. We know how to play with each other, and we all hang out outside of school, so...
That's so fun to watch when you see a cohesive team like that. I mean, the ball was just zooming past back and forth. I remember telling Nathan Welter, who was with us that night, I thought that up to that point it was probably the fastest paced game we had watched, and we had done several both boys and girls game. I mean, the ball was flying all over the place. I mean, you guys really trust each other. Talk about the trust that you guys have.
I guess our trust between each other is very good because like I said before, if I'm not scoring, I can trust that my other teammates are going to be able to step up and be able to score. And just honestly, I trust anyone on my team that they can make the ball. I have confidence in them. When we're shooting free throws, we do this free throw drill in practice, and if you miss one, we have to run. And I always have confidence in, we get to pick who shoots, and I always have confidence in all of my teammates that they'll make it. So.
All right, well, let's go ahead and talk about that night when you got the 1,000th point. Of course, so much more work had gone into leading up to that night, but let's just talk about that moment when you did get the 1,000th point mark. I know we talked post-game, but now that you've had time to reflect, how much does that mean to you and being a South Central satellite?
Well, I hadn't known that there were only, I think it was 7 girls before me who've scored it, or I was the 7th, and I honestly didn't know that, and I didn't know how special it was and how meaningful it would be to me. But I've said, I've always looked up to those girls, and Riley Popwell, Amber Wolf, Jill Rosenbaum, I know that they all scored 1,000 points, and even having Abby Tomlin on my team last year and Amber Wolf on my team 2 years ago, getting to play with all of them, and it's really nice to be able to reach that goal that I've always had since I was little. So,
to some younger players who look up to you here at South Central, what would be some words of advice of how they need to attack each game throughout their high school career to maybe achieve 1,000 points?
I would say that you always need to work hard, and whenever you step out onto the court, always give 110%, no matter if it's a practice, a game, a scrimmage, nothing, and just never take a play off.
Was getting 1,000 points ever a goal of yours?
I'd never really thought about it until I saw some of my former teammates get it, and I'd never known it was really such a big thing and such a meaningful thing to these girls who have always had this goal. And when playing on a team with Amber Wolf, seeing her get that, I always just ever since then, that's always been my goal. So.
And I know your dad is the assistant coach here. Talk about your dad being a coach for you at the younger level and now here in high school, what that means to you.
Ever since I was a 5th grader, 6th grader. He didn't coach my 7th and 8th grade team because he coached my younger sisters, and I just always hoped that he'd be sitting on the varsity bench watching me. And my sophomore year, he took a year off just because I think he wanted to kind of experience what it was like sitting off the bench. And I mean, there was always like those nights we'd come home from practice and like we'd be a little like not necessarily in a fight with each other, but I'd had a bad practice or something, and he was always there to bring me up or tell me what I need to get better at. And honestly, I feel like that had such a good impact on my game because I knew that coming on and off the court, he'd always have such good advice to give me, and I feel like that really helped me.
Tell us your parents' names.
Scotty Marks and Bridget Marks.
And, of course, they were there courtside, ready for that 1,000th point. Of course, we've seen the picture, holding the banner. What a proud moment for them, I'm sure. What did they tell you, maybe if not on the court, maybe at home when everything had finally settled? What was said at home?
They told me that they were really proud of me, and as soon as I scored my 1,000 points, my dad just said it's just a normal game from now on. I mean, there's not any expectations, and as soon as I scored it, he was like, all right, let's go back to the normal game and let's just get over that. So,
what about your teammates? What were some of the words that they had described to you in that moment, or maybe after the game?
So during the game, when I hit my 1,000 points, Lillian Tolman was the first one to come running and give me a hug. And I mean, that just feeling of like knowing that not necessarily that the spotlight was on me, but just like I had achieved the goal that I had wanted. And she just told me congratulations and how proud she was of me. And then obviously my sisters were going to hug me on the court, but when I got home, they told me congratulations and that they were proud of me. And after we went through the line of telling each other good game, Kate Welsh came up to me and she congratulated me. So
I know you've still got time the rest of this season to play out, but in your mind as we sit now, with the 1,000th point as just one of your many accomplishments here at South Central, what do you hope people will think about Olivia Marks down the road when they think back to now?
I hope people will think that I am a team leader and that I play for my team and that everything is for my team. I've always kind of gone off the quote of you play for the name on the front of your jersey and not the back, and that's always honestly really stuck with me because I try my best to be an unselfish player, and I always want my teams to succeed just like I do. So
now let's talk about the rest of the season. What do you see this satellite team doing? What do you hope to accomplish for you and the rest of the seniors on this team?
We have a game on Saturday against Westville, and we kind of take one game at a time. But we have PCC next week, and we play Hebron our first game, and I want to beat them. And then we either play Washington Township or Westville, I think, and then we play the championship on Saturday. So I want to win that, obviously. And then just from then on, I think we have the lacrosse doubleheader. And, I mean, they did beat Couts the other night, so I think we have a tough battle. And then our sectional I hope to win, and I just hope to make it all the way. So,
talk about the coaches on this team. We'd be remiss if we didn't bring up some of the coaches.
Mr. Anderson has obviously been our coach for 2 years, and we've always just been more. I don't want to say more friends with him than treating him as a coach, but he's always made us feel heard, and he's always just taken our advice, and he's asked for our advice, and it's more of we give him our advice and he listens to us, and I just really appreciate it. And then we have Coach Beebe. He's been our coach the past 2 years, and honestly, he's just one of the funniest, most genuine people ever. He makes a joke out of anything, and it's just what makes practice fun. And when we did a drill the other day, and we had to wear a glove, and it's just the little things that he notices, and he knows when practice is boring, and he makes the most out of it. So,
yeah. Well, last question. What does being a South Central satellite mean to you?
I'd have to say that being a South Central satellite, it's one of the best things because we're different than a lot of other schools. Everyone's always said, and Mr. Miller, I remember the first day we came to school, and he was this is one of the best places to be. He's I've taught at other schools, and this is just one of the best, most genuine. You have the most caring students, and along with my basketball team, they're just amazing. So,
well, thank you so much for your time. Congratulations, and good luck to you the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Also want to give a big thank you to Athletic Director John Haggard for setting that wonderful interview up. Always a fantastic time when I get a chance to see him and everyone else over there at South Central, as we are going to continue talks of South Central. Boys basketball coach Eric Speer is on the other side of the break, and then after him, we are going to talk lady satellite basketball with head coach Ben Anderson. That's on the other side of the break. Don't go anywhere. You are listening to Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI.
To the beach, y'all. Yeah.
Collins Insurance Agency in Knox has done it again. They have earned the distinction of preferred agency partner from the Western Reserve Insurance Company.
Can't touch this.
So what does that mean for you? Collins Insurance Agency provides themselves of taking care of its community. That means providing the best insurance that keeps you and your family safe in a time of need. And with this honor, Collins Insurance Agency looks forward to providing Stark and surrounding counties the best customer service you and your family deserve. Collins Insurance Agency in Knox, living the golden rule by treating you like family.
The Stark County Co-op has been a member-owned farm services co-op in Stark County since 1928. That's over 90 years, and they're still providing the same quality agronomy services to the farming community of Stark and surrounding counties. The Stark County Co-op is an LP and fuel provider. The Stark County Co-op purchases grain at both locations, Hamlet and Brems. You can reach them by phone at 1-800-782-3392.
Welcome to Marian University's newest location, Ancilla College of Marian University. Marian's newest campus location in Plymouth is your home for an on-campus college experience. From living in the dorms to being a collegiate student-athlete, Marian University is ranked third most innovative Midwest university by U.S. News and World Report. For more information about our 2- or 4-year degrees, go to www.marian.edu/Ancilla. That's www.marian.edu/Ancilla.
Let's continue the conversation with area high school coaches and more on the Saturday Sports Line.
He kicks it up to Aldrich Harper, who then finds Cheyenne Allen inside to Kelson Jordan. Back out to the corner. Big time three from Aldrich Harper. He gets it to go. 10-2, 4:20 to go in the first.
Welcome back to the Saturday Sports Line, the longest running high school sports show in Indiana. Thanks to Harold Welter. It's time to talk South Central Satellites boys basketball with head coach Eric Speer. Had a chance to finally get Coach Speer in here. How are you this morning, Coach?
I'm good. How are you guys doing? Not too bad.
Not too bad. It's
Hanging
good
in
to
there.
have you in here. We haven't had a chance to talk about the South Central Satellites. So I know you've had several games here. So just overall, let's start off. General consensus from top to bottom, the competition on this team. Tell our listeners what the South Central Satellites boys basketball team is all about.
That's funny because I feel like we've had a lot of conversations this year with the team about what exactly we are. I will tell you that when my assistants and I talked a couple weeks ago, the one thing that we do have a foundation of is our culture. I think our kids genuinely love each other. I think they enjoy being around each other. I think the coaches enjoy being around each other. And I think that's a really good start for what we're trying to accomplish as a team. And I think if you asked them, they would say the same thing. I think we've got a great group of kids who do the right things in the classroom. They show up to practice every day. They work really hard, and they genuinely care about each other.
Well, first off, I appreciate you being here this morning. You said you drove an hour to get here.
I did, yes.
So, not many coaches are willing to do that. And, of course, we do offer pre-recordings, but I sure do appreciate this. This is more meaningful. It's more,
I wanted to be here.
It's better when it's live. So, drove all the way from, you say St. Joe?
St. John.
St. John, my apologies. St. John, and then you coach at South Central.
Correct.
So, of course, you teach at South Central as well, I heard in the lobby.
Yes, sir.
So, what all do you do over there at South Central?
I teach PE right now, PE and health, middle school and high school. And then I coach basketball. I love South Central. I love the administration. I love the people I work with. It's a really good place to be.
Speaking from experience, that drive that you have from South Central to St. John to South Central. I work at Tri-Township, but I live in Culver.
That's not fun.
That's a drive
That's
too.
a drive,
But people, well, you're nuts. I know. To me, it's just a great way for me to unwind, decompress.
Yeah.
I can take my cell phone, toss it in the passenger seat, and just listen to music, and just collect my thoughts and I do some of my best thinking in that drive from Tri-Township to Culver. So I would imagine you probably use it the same way, that drive from St. John to South Central?
Absolutely. My wife actually, I think, appreciates it because I'd come home and, we'd talk for 2 hours about basketball and she's like, all right, cool, like, got it. But now I use that time to reflect, time to, okay, we got to get better at this. So what are some things that I can remember? I love listening to podcasts and just taking that time. It's time to yourself. But I will say on weekday nights when we travel to South Bend or something, it's still not fun.
Still not fun, exactly. Yeah, and my girlfriend knows that if I walk in the house after a game or whatever and I'm still in a bad mood, she just, I'm not even going to touch that one. So, not a good night, huh? Yeah, just leave it alone.
I will give my wife credit. She's the opposite. Tell me what's going on. Let's talk about it because she gets it. But there's some. I've tried not to take it home, especially I have two little ones now, because at the end of the day, it's high school basketball.
Exactly.
It's not. We want to win, of course, and obviously the kids want to win too. But I just love texting these dudes and I love calling them and being with them at school every day. And my wife is a part of the program too, and she teaches at South Central also. So
nice.
We have a nice family there, and I love it there. The drive sucks, but it's a job that I love going to. So
that makes it worth it.
It says here on John Harold, it's your second year at South Central, seventh year overall coaching. Being at South Central, talk about the last couple of years of coming in to start your program, to get the guys that are younger and coming up, what that's like. I'm sure that's not an easy job.
No, and it wasn't because Coach Wagner did such a good job, too. I mean, his last year there, they won 14 games, and he really established a culture of making sure basketball was important and doing things the right way. But when I came in, we had different ways of playing, different philosophies on how basketball should be played. And my goal these first couple of years was like, hey, let's get kids having fun, and I want them to get to know me. I want to build relationships. I always put on social media and I tell the kids, like, these relationships mean more than wins and losses. Like, yes, the losses suck and I feel them. My wife will attest to that for sure. But at the end of the day, like, I love building these relationships. And so when I first got there, I made it a point, and I still make it a point, like, during the school day, we don't discuss basketball. I'm going to talk to you about how everything's going. We're going to joke around in class. I'm going to let you have fun. But then also on the opposite side, in the 2 hours of basketball practice, we're getting down to business. It's time to get to work. And I think establishing that culture first of we use the word love a lot, and we don't say family. We tell each other we love each other, and that's because that's what families do. And so I think establishing that culture and letting the kids know that we care about them first and not how many baskets they make and how many rebounds they grab, I think the rest will eventually fall into place. But like anything, it takes time.
Talk about the starting five on this team. Was it kind of hard to nail that down? Maybe the competition on the team was pretty tough heading into the season?
Yeah, I think we had an idea of who we were going to start, and it has changed tremendously.
Wow.
And it's not a bad thing. The good thing about it is we've had guys compete every day at practice. I really think this year I was like, okay, these are the five guys, but then some other guys have stepped up, and now our roles have shifted, and now it's these kids have to accept their new roles, whether it's more minutes, less minutes, more rebounds, less rebounds, and I think we've done a really good job of doing that, but we're still in the process of who are our eight, who's the 8 or 9 that we're going to take and really get into that, and it makes it fun, but it also makes it like, we don't have it yet, and just kind of like when they talk about NFL quarterbacks, if you have 2, you have none.
Yeah,
we have 10, we don't have 5, so we need our 5 or 6 that we're really going to hatch down here and win or lose games with.
Well, tell us some of the names on this team. Tell our listeners who we need to keep an eye out for.
We have a freshman right now named Jay Huerta who is unbelievable. And this summer, we definitely saw the potential. And he actually got an opportunity to start the first game of the year just because of how some things fell into place. And he's just taken off since. And he I honestly, like, if you ask me about him for the next 4 years, I'm going to talk about this kid like he's my son because he's unbelievable. He shows up early. He stays late. He works out when we don't work out. He takes the games personal. He is a great kid. Everybody in the school loves him. I mean, he's a good dude. He's yes sir, no sir, yes coach, no coach. He scored 31 against DeMont Christian a couple weeks ago. He scored 23 last night against Boone Grove, and he's obviously got a long way to go because he's 14 years old and he's still learning. But he's someone who we thought could help us on varsity, but now he's like our guy on varsity.
I love how you said he takes games personal.
He does.
I love that. I love that passion in players, because like MJ, everything's always personal.
Yep.
And that's how you win. And I love that in guys. And being a freshman, boy, that's exciting. But didn't mean to interrupt. Please go on.
And that's a great point, and he does. And I think we have some younger guys who really do. I mean, we have a couple sophomores and a couple more freshmen who it's personal to them. And it's no disrespect to the other team. It's personal. So last Friday when Hebron came to South Central and just bullied us. And it happens, right? We're a young team and we're trying to learn how to play. Jay came in the next morning, and I'm always there an hour early, and he comes in, doesn't say hi to me, puts his shoes on, has his head down, goes, grabs the ball rack, goes, gets the gun out, and shoots for 20 minutes. And it's like, he took it personal. He didn't want to lose that game. He didn't play well that game. Hebron did a good job, and he took it personal. Last night, he scores 23 points and grabs 5 rebounds, but he didn't have the best game defensively, and he's texting me at 11 o'clock at night going, Coach, it's my bad. It'll never happen again. And it's like, it's just awesome. I mean, I get to coach this kid for 4 years. I'm so lucky. I'm so lucky.
Right. Well, hey, you're sitting at 3-8, probably not where you want to be, obviously, but, looking at your schedule and looking at the scores here, you're 4 points away from being 5-6, we're right at 500. So, again, you're right there. Yeah. What do you need to do to get over the hump?
I think we need to find a competitive edge more consistently, if that makes sense.
Right. It does.
We have it in moments, but then like last night against Boone Grove, we got up 5 and then we lost our edge. And then we get down 5 and we kind of lose the edge. And then we don't block out that one time. And so, they get a rebound. I think we need more of a competitive edge more consistently to get us over that hump.
Go ahead.
I was just listening to you guys. I had the first 3 questions in a row, Chris. This is your turn.
Oh, all right. So, So last night, you go into overtime. Boone Grove, they hit a last-second 3 to knock you guys off. What was the? And you talked about it a little bit with the freshmen. How was the mentality of the rest of the players in the locker room after that overtime loss last night? And how is that going to carry over to tonight? You have Whiting tonight coming into to the launch pad.
Yep. I think they were hurt. I mean, it's what I love about this group is it hurts, but I tell them every day in the locker room when we lose, you can't take it out the locker room.
Right.
It's at the end of the day, you've got to go home and study for a test, or you got to go home and talk to a girlfriend or parents.
Right.
It is what it is, and it sucks to lose. But one thing I love about my staff is they keep me level-headed. We keep each other level-headed. I have the best assistants you could ask for, and I want to give him a shout-out. Kurt Welsh.
Go ahead. Yes, I was just getting ready to say, let's make that segue. Who's helping you coach there?
Kurt Welsh played baseball and basketball there. Really, really good athlete. Colin Shube followed me over from Hammond Morton. And then Mike Ryan, who's our 8th grade coach, and he also helps out with JV now. And it's a staff of guys who love kids, and that's like the number one thing for me. I don't care about your X's and O's. I don't care about what we're going to do. We're going to fight, but I need you to love these dudes so they know that we have it and that they can listen to you.
Right.
But I think our kids' mentality is fine. I mean, we're next play. It happened last night. We can sulk all we want, but I bet Wheeler's sitting there going, man, we're 1 point away from having 3 wins if South Central didn't make some layup.
Right.
We nailed a big-time 3 against South Bend Trinity to beat them, and all you can ask for is a chance to win, and we had that, and Boone Grove made a play. So they made a play, and a kid made – I mean, gosh, I'll show you the shot after we're done, man. He made it with a hand in his face, swish, nothing but net. I mean, I turn around and laugh like what you're supposed to do. It was a great shot.
Exactly.
Good for the kid.
Yeah, shake their hands and then walk off the floor and learn from it.
That's it.
Hey,
go ahead.
No, I was just to say, I've been keeping an eye on you guys through social media, especially your guys' Instagram page, SC Boys Hoops.
Yep.
A lot of stuff behind the scenes. I find it interesting. A lot of school pages, they do a good job of promoting the game, but I see a lot of stuff behind the scenes with you guys, like in the gym working out and the camaraderie and stuff like. I mean, it's fun to watch your guys' social media page. Talk about the camaraderie of this team, being friends off the court, not necessarily. I mean, obviously on the court, you want them, but off the court. Talk about their relationship a little bit.
It's the most connected team I've ever coached. They again, we go to the weight room and you've got guys dancing with each other and holding each other accountable. And I think we need to take that to another level. I've told them, I think sometimes we like each other too much. I told them that, like, I mean, it is funny, but like, it's also the truth where like,
you got a little bit of,
like, hey, your buddy over there is dancing. He's got to get his reps in. Yeah, cool. He's got it. But no, I do that for that reason. I think it's okay, and I tell the kids all the time, it's okay to let people into your life a little bit, and that's how you start trusting people. I want everybody to know that win-loss record isn't us.
Yeah.
Us is working every day and in the weight room and building relationships and eating donuts in the morning and hanging out in the classroom. That's who we are. We just happen to also play basketball with each other, and some of the results are going to be not good and some of them are going to be good, but that's to me the point of the page. I think that's where a lot of high school programs fail on their social media is it's, hey, we won and you should be proud of us. No, be proud that we were in the weight room till 6 o'clock the other night on a school night. Be proud that at the PCC banquet the other day that, we're all jumping around at the court together. Like, that's what we should be proud of. This stuff is great and we want to win. And I know the kids want to win. No one wants to win more than us than the kids. But at the end of the day, I'd go out to dinner with these guys and I want to hang out with them. I think that's more important than anything that you're going to read on John Harrell.
All right. So this afternoon, is that right?
1:30.
1:30. Okay. You have Whiting coming to town. What do you know about the Oilers?
I know they have the Donaldson, their point guard, is a really, really good player, like a 5'9", 5'10" sophomore, and man, he could play. And they are a different team without him. He makes their whole team better. Seems like he gives them a lot of confidence. So we're going to have to try to minimize his looks and make it difficult for him. And I think if we do that, we'll give ourselves an opportunity to win. And Toth is the coach's kid. He can shoot the rock, man. So we got to make sure we try to subdue those two guys, and we just got to run. I mean, that's what we do on offense. We got to run and make it difficult. I mean, Boone Grove had a couple guys cramping last night. So again, to their credit, they made some plays, but we got to get out and run and make some shots.
Coach, I appreciate you taking the time to come in. You make sure to tell your better half we really appreciate it.
I definitely will. She'll be excited to hear that. Of course, I'm ecstatic. Thanks for having me in here.
Yeah, absolutely, Coach. Means a lot, and good luck against Whiting today.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
That's head coach of the South Central Satellites, Eric Speer, here on the Saturday Sports Line, the longest-running high school sports show in Indiana. We're going to take a break and come back. We're going to talk Lady Tigers with head coach Chris McGowen. You know him well. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Saturday Sports Line.
This presentation of our area's local high school sports is sponsored by Pulaski Memorial Hospital in Winamac. Pulaski Memorial Hospital is dedicated to providing excellent health care to improve the health and quality of life for the people and the community they serve. They will meet the community's needs and exceed their expectations by creating the best possible health care experience. For more information of the services they provide, call 946-2100.
Since 1936, Standard Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning have always taken pride in doing the job right. Third-generation owner Brian Hammond and his family have always set the standard when it comes to taking care of all your heating and cooling needs. Making your home a comfortable home is the absolute top priority. If you are uncomfortable in your home, give them a call at 574-936-4660. Follow them on Facebook. Let Standard Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning help you take control of your comfort.
Welcome to Marian University's newest location, Ancilla College of Marian University. Marian's newest campus location in Plymouth is your home for an on-campus college experience. From living in the dorms to being a collegiate student-athlete, Marian University is ranked third most innovative Midwest university by U.S. News & World Report. For more information about our 2- or 4-year degrees, go to www.marian.edu/Ancilla. That's www.marian.edu/Ancilla.
There's more with area high school coaches as we return to the Saturday Sports Line from the Pulaski Memorial Hospital studios on K99.3.
This is Wyatt Stowe, who kicks it back to Kelson Jordan for another three. Ho-ho! 16-4, and Kelson Jordan's on fire.
Back for more here at the Pulaski Memorial Hospital studios. We are talking the Tri-Township Lady Tigers with Chris McGowen.
Yeah.
Head coach Chris McGowen here.
Thank you, Coach Anderson, for that. Yeah. I tell you what, my week after the whole PCC banquet has been, I forgot what my name was because he called me Kevin instead of Chris. And I walk into school on Monday and the office ladies and, hey, Kevin, how's it going? Hey, Kevin, how's it going? So I get emails now and it starts, excuse me, Kevin, but can you, the kids, all the students, Kevin.
I think it shows you how powerful Ben Anderson's words are.
I guess, yeah. I'm going to start calling him Louie.
I hope he's listening. All right, Kev, Chris.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and dive right in. My goodness gracious. Might be the best looking John Harrell schedule you see online right now of our area teams. You guys are 14-4 right now. I'll do a little bit of the nice. I know you'll get down to business and talk what needs to be fixed, but from an outside perspective looking in, my goodness, Chris, you guys are on fire. I got a text, I think from, I forget who texted me, but somebody said you guys had broke a couple of records this week. You texted me a couple weeks ago and broke another record you told me. What are you doing? What are you doing over there?
Let's go back to River Forest. We went to River Forest, and I'll be honest with you, because of where River Forest falls in our schedule, I don't have much of an opportunity to actually game plan for River Forest as much as I would like and as much as I do for other teams. We go up to New Chicago, and my girls come out right off the bat. We get the tip, and Addie Gorski throws it up to Avery Hendrickson, and we're not even 5 seconds into the game, and Avery drills one from about 25 feet out, kind of set the tone. And before you know it, honestly, it was just something you knew. Just had that feeling that it was going to be something special. At the end of the night against River Forest, we set a school record for most points in a game at 80.
My goodness.
And most 3-pointers made in a game, 17. Avery,
is this just school history?
School history. But again, it was something that it was just weird. And I told you off air, and I told my assistant coaches on the bus ride home. It just kind of reminded me of the movie Rocky IV when Rocky's fighting Ivan Drago, and halfway through the fight, the Russians are starting to root for Rocky. The River Forest fans in their student section were rooting for my girls to knock down another three. It was something I had never seen in a high school basketball game before. And at one point, we were like 17 of 25 from the 3-point line. We missed our last 7. But
they had to change the nets after that.
Well,
game.
but three of them, three of those 7 misses were, the JV players. But again, it was just something that, people will probably sitting there listening. Well, you're running up the score, all this and all that. And no, it's a lot of it has to do with what River Forest was doing. They played that zone, and they gave us the 3-point shot, and they never changed.
Cash and checks.
So it part of that is you got to take what the other team's giving you, and we did. But after that game, it was just something. We go to Washington Township and we let one get away there. The final score, we get beat by 14, but it's a 5-point game with 6 minutes to go. We're right where we want to be on the road, and just kind of ran out of gas a little bit. And give Washington Township credit, they hit a couple big 3-pointers and knocked down their free throws when we had to foul, and pushed it up to a 14-point win. But we bounced back after that with Frontier on Saturday, get a 74-46 win Again, just come back to the Tiger Den, familiar surroundings, and was able to put 74 points on the board that game. And then this past week on Tuesday night, we take on Couch, a very good Couch team. I think they were 8th in the state at the time, and we get a 1-point win.
Yeah.
And then last night, Morgan Township comes to the Den, and we're able to eke out a 4-point win against, I think, the 10th ranked team in the state. So, again, just you stop to think about that. Washington Township, the PCC girls basketball, Washington Township, I think, is ranked 7th in the state. Couch is 8th. Morgan Township's 10th. In the latest poll, I think we were 14th. So 4 of the 8 teams in the PCC are ranked in the top 15 in Class 1A. That's pretty special, and that says something for the conference as a whole.
Well, and then you guys are 9-1 in the last 10 games. That's impressive itself. Quite a run here you're going on. But you see Westville again. Of course, we were at the first game you played Westville, beat them very easily, 59-38. This is tournament play, though. Talk about that and what that may be different in terms of what you'll see from Westville.
Well, in that first game, I think we were up 31 going into the fourth quarter. They came out and they switched up defenses a little bit, went to more of a 1-3-1 half-court trap, and we kind of got a little lackadaisical handling the basketball. So that's something that definitely we're gonna work on this afternoon when we get to the gym and have practice. Shout out to my girls right now. They're getting ready to start the cheer and dance competition for the Porter County Conference.
Okay.
They do that on this kind of kicks off the tournament week. They do the dance and cheer, and I've got all but like 3 girls that are in dance or in cheer. So they're getting ready to go compete this morning at that. And then when they get back, we're going to get on the court and we're going to talk basketball, and we'll prepare for Westville on Tuesday night. But again, I'm kind of disappointed in how we finished that game that night. But the girls are focused, and I think the momentum that we've carried over, hopefully we can sustain.
One thing, you bring up the cheering. I thought that was kind of cool. We did the doubleheader there at Oregon Davis last month, and of course, we were with Brian Hammond, our halftime sponsor.
Right.
That was our commentator with me that night. And he had mentioned, he said, hey, look, there's a couple of girls basketball players that are now dressed as cheerleaders. And I'm sure it's not the only time it's ever happened, but I'd never seen that before.
Well, yeah, we share, I have 13 girls on the team, and I think 10 of them are either part of, they're combined or part of dance and part of cheer. And so that there's no problem with that. We work well together, me and the coaches.
Yeah.
But
you guys share athletes crazy over there.
Yeah, when you have 102 kids, grades 9 through 12, you have to share athletes. But again, the girls kind of, after a game, they're kind of looking at me like, okay, coach, shut up. I got to get changed. I got to go cheer. But,
we won. Yeah,
we won.
Rah.
Okay,
bye-bye.
See, I got to go. But again, it's a lot of fun. And, the girls, like I said, I wish them the best of luck today. Hopefully they can bring home that Spirit Championship today in both dance and cheer.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Is this part of the Bi-County tournament?
No, this is the Porter County Conference tournament.
My apologies.
Yeah, the boys. This is actually the 100th year for the boys.
Oh, wow.
For the boys tournament, in year 51 for the girls.
See, I'm learning still.
So it's something something to behold, and it's a special week. There's so much going on. There's games every night of the week, and hopefully, knock on wood, in years past, Mother Nature, for some reason during the Porter County Conference Week, has decided to rear her ugly head with weather and kind of wreaked havoc on things. Hopefully, that stays away this week.
Sure.
And we're able to have a normal week of Porter County Conference tournament basketball, but there's games every night. The girls play Monday and Tuesday night at Morgan Township. The boys play Wednesday and Thursday at Hebron. So, and then Fridays, the girls semifinals, the boys semifinals are Saturday morning, and then the championship games are Saturday night. So it's just a week of great basketball and a lot of fun, and the kids know each other so well. It's fun to be a part of.
Well, as a matter of fact, it's funny you bring it up. Next week's going to be busy for us here, too, at KVB. Tony Ross called me up, said, hey, let's do a game on Tuesday. So I'm doing the Oregon Davis LaVille bi-county tournament game, and he will be doing the Argus and Culver game. So normally not doing a game on Tuesday night, but that doubleheader adds up for me. That'll be 8 games I'll be broadcasting next week. So evidently tournament action is big this time of year, especially this week for your tournament, the bi-county tournament. So a lot of excitement happening. And I know – no, go ahead.
I'm just going to talk about last night's game a little bit.
Yeah, I was literally getting ready to get there.
Yeah, the credit to my girls. I mean, we got down 9 in the second quarter and, just call the timeout. Hey, focus, all right? We're all right. So, we were down 25-16 with about 2.5 minutes left to go in the second quarter. And, we go into halftime tied 27-27. So we carried that momentum over to the third quarter and come out and built a 5 or 6 point lead. But give Morgan Township credit, they came back and it was back and forth the rest of the game, and we were able to pull out a 4-point win. But Avery Hendrickson, I couldn't believe it when I looked in the scorebook last night. She ended up with 20 points, and it was a quiet 20. And she hit 4 threes last night, but again, it was just a quiet 20. Jade Pryor had 14. Addie Gorski had 9. Miranda Wozniak had 8. So again, just a total team effort. And again, Morgan Township, the 2 teams that we played this week, if we take care of business on Tuesday, we would play Couts and Morgan Township play each other in the same bracket, same side of the bracket that we're in. So if we take care of business on Tuesday night, we're going to have to play one of those 2 teams again on Friday night. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, I'm so glad your team is doing so well this season, Coach. You deserve it. You've put the time and effort. Your kids deserve it. They're working their butts off, and never should be ashamed when the threes are raining down like drops of water. I always say splash, and the reason I say splash is because if a ball goes through the net perfectly, it literally looks like a drop of water. It looks like a splash. So, I mean, it's fun to watch your girls play. I'm excited to see what you guys do in the tournament. But like you and Joe Eskridge said earlier, it's one game at a time.
One game at a time, and the phrase that I use is bombs away.
Bombs away.
Yeah. So River Forest. I mean, that was it. And as soon as Avery hit that first one, I just said it. Bombs away, ladies.
And they know what to do.
And they know what to do. So
that's awesome. All right, Coach. I don't know what to call you, Coach or Chris, because you work here.
Kevin,
but you're also Coach
whatever.
Kevin.
Whatever. It doesn't matter.
All right, Coach. Appreciate it.
Yep, thank you.
We're going to take a break and go to the Where Are They Now segment with Harold Welter. You know him well. Don't go anywhere. This is the Saturday Sports Line, the longest-running high school sports show in Indiana. I'm Mitch Columby. The tradition continues.
Stay tuned for more sports talk with Mitch Columby on Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI.
It's time now for Where Are They Now? A look back at more than a half century of WKVI radio covering local high school sports. Today's program is brought to you by Osborne's Mini Marts in Knox and Culver. Now let's meet one of the local high school sports figures from more than 50 years of WKVI sports and find out where are they now?
Well, as we look back on more than 50 years of broadcasting high school sports in the Kankakee Valley area here on WKVI, our guest is Sarah Bombagetti Nehrbass, a 2000 graduate of Knox High School, and we call this segment, Where Are They Now? So, Sarah, where are you now, and what are you doing?
Well, it is wonderful to participate in this, and right now I live in Seattle, Washington. I've lived here for about maybe 17 or 18 years, and I actually am a middle school teacher, so I spend my days with 7th and 8th graders, working with them on a variety of subjects. I also have a husband and a wonderful family. I have 2 young daughters, Amelia, who is in 2nd grade at the same school that I work with, so it's fun to catch her in the hallway, and then Eleanor, who is in preschool.
So you've got plenty to keep you busy. Are either one of them swimmers? You were a great swimmer.
Oh, well, I would love for them to be, but right now they're more interested in doing dance and gymnastics. But I still have high hopes that I might get them into a pool one day.
Well, one of the things we wanted to talk with you about is you're still on the record books at Knox High School. Going back 25 years ago, you still hold the record for the 200 freestyle. You were on the 400 free relay team that still holds the school record there. Going back and all those, you had some exciting swim matches in your high school career. What's the one that stands out more than any other?
Ooh, that's a really good question. I think the one that stood out, or the one that I would get the most excited or even a little bit anxious about, was we would always swim against Bremen every year, and they had some phenomenal swimmers, and they had, and I don't remember her name, but a really talented swimmer who swam the same events that I did, and she was amazing. And I always just remember being really anxious but excited for those races, to kind of have an opponent who was really good that I looked up to, that was kind of a challenge to try to beat them, even though I never did.
Well, you were fortunate back there in the late 90s when you were participating. You had some great teammates. I mean, you guys had some great swim teams and other athletic teams there at Knox, didn't you?
We did. My class, the class of 2000, I think we were a really strong athletic class and also a really strong academic class.
Well, and of course that pays off. And as you look back, growing up in the Knox area, Sarah, who were some of the people that were maybe your role models or people who helped you be successful in athletics?
Well, John Van Driesch was the swim coach at the time, and I think I swam under him in middle school and then into high school. And I think he to this day, is someone who really shaped who I became as an athlete, but also just as a person. I think he instilled in all of us a really strong work ethic and a really strong ability to face the challenges that you have head on. And then another person who was a really good mentor and is still a mentor in my life is the beloved Miss B, Stacy Bolakowski. She was an English teacher, and she not only was a phenomenal teacher, but just an excellent friend. So those are, I think, the two people looking back who really shaped my high school years and then even into my college and adult years.
Who were some of your teammates back there? You mentioned, not only that you have some really good athletes, but you had some great academic performers there as well.
Yeah, looking back at the swim team, I swam every day in a lane with Amy Kleinfin, Erica Spizak, and Amber Folkers. And then to the lane next to us was Nick Boroff and Steve Stark. So surrounded by wonderful, strong athletes, but also strong students as well. It was a great time.
And when we looked at that record board, the 400 free relay, which you were part of that team, it lists Bombagetti and Bombagetti.
Yeah, I have two younger sisters, and my middle sister, Katie, and I, she's 2 years younger than I am. So it was really cool to participate in sports together and then break that record together. We broke that record at the sectional finals, and I think it was either my junior or senior year. I don't remember the date, but we did that together. So that's a cool thing that, my sister and I have done together.
February 6, 1999, to be exact.
Perfect. So that would be junior year.
We're talking with Sarah Bombagetti Nehrbass, a 2000 graduate of Knox High School, here on our Where Are They Now segment, and we'll be back with more in a moment.
Need a game plan that has your day covered from tip-off to the buzzer? Osborne's Mini Mart in Knox has you covered. Whether you like to start out with a caffeinated full-court press or control the tempo with a Subway breakfast flatbread, Osborne's Mini Mart has what you need. Don't get trapped in the corner with an empty stomach. Call a quick timeout and get 2 hot dogs for $1.29. Visit Osborne's Mini Mart in Knox at the corner of US 35 and Highway 8 East to guarantee you win the day.
Our guest is Sarah Bombagetti Nehrbass, a 2000 graduate of Knox High School, here on our Where Are They Now segment. And let me ask you, Sarah, what did you gain from being a high school athlete that has helped you be successful in life?
Oh, I would say a lot of skills that were useful then and also useful now. And not all of them had to do with any sort of athleticness. I would think the biggest thing outside of like swimming skills was just learning how to manage my time, because we practiced in the morning and we practiced after school, and then we always had homework. So I learned then how to plan and manage my time to get all the things done, and that was definitely beneficial as I moved into college, and then also, moving into my adult life. I think the other thing that I really gained from being a high school athlete is a sense of pride in the hard work that you put in and then the positive results that come from that. And I think that's definitely helped me as I've navigated different situations or, different classes or just things that might not immediately be easy, but sticking through that to feel that sense of accomplishment and pride based upon the hard work that was put in. And I think it also was just a love of movement and a love of doing, moving my body and enjoying the stress relief that came from movement and exercise.
Finally, let me ask you, what advice would you have for young athletes who look at that record board and say, boy, I'd like to have the kind of success that Sarah Bombagetti Nehrbass had when she was in high school? What advice would you give to those athletes? And you've got some kids who are getting into dance and gymnastics. You talk about competition. What kind of advice will you give them as they grow older?
I think advice that I would give my own daughters and then students or athletes is to really listen to what your coach is telling you. If they are telling you that you need to do a certain drill or a certain thing, do it, because they know what they're talking about and what they need to do. I think also what I would tell people is to really work hard. Success does not come immediately for most people, and I think you gain what you put into it. And I just also think, too, being a gracious winner and being a gracious loser is also a good skill to take forth, and the advice that I would give.
We want to thank you for taking time and visiting with us, Sarah, and reminiscing and sharing your thoughts with us here. Boy, it doesn't seem like 25 years ago, does it?
It does not. It sure goes fast.
Our guest has been Sarah Bombagetti Nehrbass, a 2000 graduate of Knox High School, and we invite you to join us again next week here on the Saturday Sports Line for Where Are They Now?
Where Are They Now? A look back at more than a half century of high school sports coverage on WKVI has been brought to you by Osborne's Mini Marts in Knox and Culver.
Join us each Saturday morning on WKVI for the Saturday Sports Line and worldwide on WKVI.com.
Time now for our Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Week, given in memory of Tyler Roth, a 2001 graduate of Winamac High School who died in an auto accident 1 week after his high school graduation. His legacy of hard work, outstanding citizenship, artistic success, and super athletic performance lives on with this award given every week to outstanding student athletes from the 8 schools in the Kankakee Valley. Today's award is brought to you by Web Printing and JT Shirt Shack in Winamac, and we'll tell you who's earned the Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Week after this word from Web Printing.
Web Printing and JT Shirt Shack and signs of all kinds in Winamac is where all of your printing needs can be met. Whether it's paper, garments, or signs, Web Printing is your full-service printing solution. So if you're in need of embroidered or screen-printed garments, tickets or programs for your event, or documents for your business, Web Printing and JT Shirt Shack is the place to go. For the quickest service, best prices, and best quality, it's Web Printing and JT Shirt Shack in Winamac.
Our Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Week for this week is Vivian Turner, a member of the swim team at Oregon Davis High School. Vivian is having an amazing season for the Lady Cats. She has broken 2 school records so far this season. As a senior, she broke the 50-meter freestyle and the 100-meter freestyle, as she has been nothing short of electric so far throughout this season. Vivian is the daughter of Larry and Gretchen Turner, as we congratulate Vivian Turner of Oregon Davis, our Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Week. Vivian will receive a certificate, a history of the award, and a t-shirt commemorating her achievement, and will also be a future guest on the Saturday Sports Line. She will be eligible for our Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Year award later this spring, which carries with it a plaque and a college scholarship, compliments of WKVI and the family of Tyler Roth. The Tyler Roth WKVI Athlete of the Week is brought to you by Web Printing and JT Shirt Shack in Winamac. We're going to make sure and get that interview for you on next week's Saturday Sports Line. But until then, you enjoy the rest of your weekend. Don't forget to join us tonight at Oregon Davis in the Bobcat Den, where the Winamac Warriors travel north on 35 to face an old familiar foe. Join us around 7 p.m. Central. That's tonight, right here on KVB's WKVI. Until then, enjoy your afternoon. I'm Mitch Columbi. From the Pulaski Memorial Hospital Studios, the tradition continues.
From the Pulaski Memorial Hospital Studios of Kankakee Valley Broadcasting's WKVI, you've been listening to the Saturday Sports Line with Sports Director Mitch Columbi and Sports Analyst Chris McGowen.